Hacker-Pschorr Oktoberfest Märzen.
Life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Welcome to another edition of Bands, Bikes and Booze Reviews. It's freezing cold out there, and quite frankly, I'm very happy about it. But I have got a bottle of this stuff, and this is the Hacker-Pschorr Oktoberfest Märzen. Now, I've been trying really hard to get hold of this, and finally I have secured some. And it wasn't easy. The other three Oktoberfest beers that were quite easy to come by was the Löwenbräu, the Spaten and the Hofbrau. Now so far, Hofbrau is number 1, Paulaner number 2, Spaten number 3. I have yet to try the Augustiner stuff, but I've got some on order. I'm going to revisit the Löwenbräu, and this is the last one in the axis of evil, or the axis of pleasure, if you like. And it is the Hacker-Pschorr Oktoberfest Märzen. Now, of course, Hacker-Pschorr and all them breweries I just mentioned are what I call the Big Six, or the Big Munich Six. Now, what they are the breweries that are based in Munich, and they're the only ones that are allowed to sell beer during the Oktoberfest in Munich. And all them breweries have got very good reputations, but I have to say, Hacker-Pschorr really do stand out. Everything they do, like Paulaner, is really good. Now, the Hacker-Pschorr Weiss beer is their flagship beer, and that is outstanding. Lucky for me, they sell it in a pub in Kent, in Maidstone. It's called the Sellers Arms, and they have that. And every time I go there, I make a point of going there. It's the first beer I pick up of the night, and of course, you cannot go wrong with it. And I've heard good things about this Oktoberfest Märzen too from Hacker-Pschorr. And, you know, when it comes to Oktoberfest, Munich really is the epicentre of the Oktoberfest. But this brewery is where it all started, or one of the parts of this brewery is where it all started. Of course, they're an amalgamation. The Hacker Brewery, being the original, and the Pschorr Brewery, they merged in the mid-70s, I think, to become Hacker-Pschorr, and they've been producing fantastic beer ever since. But before that, the Oktoberfest beer, or the original beer that was brewed for the Oktoberfest on the orders of the Duke of Bavaria, it was brewed by Hacker-Pschorr. And of course, they've been upholding that tradition ever since. And Märzen, of course, is the beer of choice for the Oktoberfest. It's what the brewers brew, and it's a seasonal beer. It's only available around sort of October time. No, that's not true. This is September now, so it's around a little bit before that. But you'll only get it around sort of September, October time, maybe August if you're lucky. But Märzen, of course, means March in German. Of course, that is when the beer was brewed, and of course it was matured or lagered ever since then. Of course, and it's a bottom fermented beer. So, with that in mind, let's get this beer investigated. 5.8%, which is standard for a Märzen. A Märzen is usually above 5%, anywhere between 5 and 6.5, something like that. You've got, I think the Paulaner is 6%. The Löwenbräu, I think, is the high 5s, 5.5 or possibly even higher. And the others as well, the Spaten and the Augustiner, are above 5%. But here it is, here's the label. Now, that is quite a nice label on there, and of course it's got the flip top bottle top on there. But yeah, really looking forward to this. Now, Oktoberfest beer is usually the best beer that certainly the Munich beer breweries produce. However, I was very slightly disappointed in the Paulaner. I thought that was going to be outstanding. Don't get me wrong, it was still good, but by their standards, I thought it didn't quite match the Hofbrau. The Hofbrau is in #1 at the moment, and that was truly amazing. Now, Hacker-Pschorr are one of my favourite breweries, so I'm hoping that, well, I'm not hoping, I'm assuming they're going to be better than Hofbrau, but the proof is in the tasting. So let's shut up and get this beer tasted. Right, get that top off there like that. That really did make a bang, didn't it? Now, I'm not using a Stein, and I've explained this in the other videos as well. I'm not a massive fan of Steins, certainly not the litre Steins. And the half-litre Steins, I don't think there's much point in me buying one, because I've got this. This is like a German, and it's an ABK Pilsner glass. So I'm just going to pour it in there, and I doubt very, very much that the taste experience is going to be massively different. Now, this is pouring to be a nice colour. That's an amber colour. Now, that is what I would expect from a Märzen. That is the archetypal colour. It's like a dark amber. The Paulaner stuff was very light indeed, as was, I think, the Spartan stuff. The Hofbrau was more this colour, but them two, they were very light in colour. But Märzen can range from that sort of light colour to quite even slightly darker than that sometimes. But that is what I'd expect a Märzen to be. So what are we getting on the nose? Oh, that's really nice. There's a very, very slight aroma of caramel malt, but there's like a sweet liquid bread type aroma coming from that too, from that sweet yeast and the malt mixed together. And there's a touch of earthiness too, so that the hops, which I'm presuming are Tettnanger hops or Hallertau, probably Hallertau actually, not Tettnanger, Hallertau I'd imagine. Oh, it smells really good, and the head on that as well, the head retention looks really good on that too. Of course, this is filtered, so there's no yeast at the bottom of it. And there it goes into the glass, yeah. And it just looks like a good pint. But looking like a good pint is not good enough for me. I am going to need to taste it to confirm that it's a good pint. So let's get it down the hatch. Zum Wohl, as they say in Germany. Oh, that is so good. Fuck, that is good. Oh, that is amazing stuff. I'm going to dive in again. Wow, that is amazing stuff. Right, you're getting caramel malt. You're getting that. The only way I can describe it, and I've said it before, is the smoky bacon flavour. Toned down, but it's still there. Now I'm assuming that's a mixture of the yeast and the malt that's giving it that. But it tastes absolutely amazing. It really does. And there's a lot of the hop character on top of that as well. I'm getting some quite nice earthy notes and hay type flavours that are coming from that. And altogether, this is what I think a Märzen should taste like. In my head, when I try the other beers, apart from the Hofbrau, but the Paulaner, and the Spartan, they reminded me more of a lager style rather than a Märzen. If you know, and our lager, of course, is bottom fermented, so they are virtually the same styles, but there is a slight difference on this. But that, I say slight, that slight difference, it does make a big difference. There's a nice earthy bitterness on the finish, but then that gives way to nice subtle caramel malt, and then that sweet smoky bacon type Munich Pilsner malt. But it tastes absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, and I could see myself drinking a hell of a lot of this stuff. And Hacker-Pschorr have not let me down here. Oh, that is really good. That is so good. But I wouldn't have expected anything less from Hacker-Pschorr. They just get things right. So what's the verdict on Hacker-Pschorr Oktoberfest Märzen? Amazing. That is an amazing beer. Is it as good as the Hofbrau? Do you know what? There is so little in the two. But I have to say, I think by a gnat's chuff that the Hofbrau shades it just slightly. But this is so close. I mean, they really are neck and neck. It's amazing stuff. Of course, it is a 10 out of 10. It is 10 out of 10 all day long. And, you know, I can see why this is their Oktoberfest beer. It is just, I can't emphasise the flavour, how much, you know, how complete and balanced and, you know, just moreish that the whole package is. It is just amazing. And, you know, you've got that subtle caramel malt on there, but then that gives way to the earthy bitterness, and then you've got, like I say, the sort of smoky bacon, sweet Pilsner malt, you know, a mixture between that yeast and the malt, and that is what makes it moreish. And it's just, you know, it just goes down great. The mouthfeel on it is superb. I mean, if you look at the carbonation, that is what you want to look for when you want to have a good mouthfeel. Certainly on a Märzen, that's what you're looking for. Head retention, I have to say, is not bad at all. But that just gets better and better as it goes down. However, I still don't think it's as good as the Hofbrau. So as it stands now, Hofbrau is still number one, hanging on by its fingernails. Then you've got number two, Hacker-Pschorr, which, you know, it is less than a millimetre. But I just prefer the Hofbrau. There's just something about the Hofbrau that, you know, it's even moreish than that, if you can imagine that. Number three, I think, is the Paulaner. Number four, Spartan. I've still got to try the Augustiner, and I've still got to revisit the Löwenbräu. So as soon as I do that, then I will give you my final verdict, hopefully before the 1st of October, and I'll give you my verdict on the best Oktoberfest beer in my opinion. But this stuff, I highly recommend you get this. This, for me, is a 10 out of 10. I'm probably going to try and get some more of this. I'll get my mate to bring some over when he's over. He's coming over New Year's Eve. This is fantastic stuff. Really good. And remember, just like this stuff, beer is working class champagne.